We are going to go in then, and it's going to be Runes of Lordaeron. And yeah, Sodder was kind of positioned over there in the green goo of Runes of Lordaeron, and he sat quite comfortably just spamming hots. And that's really all he did. And the Battle of the Mages, despite Malice, you know, showing some decent, you know, kind of counterplay to polys, you know, in the first place was put into those polys. So Venruki must have been playing well initially in that fight. So 2-1 the score then. GotGame East need one more win to take this, and you know, people have said maybe, oh, my mouse, oh, please work mouse, there we go. I swear there's something wrong because it's actually changed my mouse. So everything's hotted once again.
Yeah, and Sodder's playing the same deep feral spec he was using back in Montreal, but the game has started.
Yeah, he's deep in rest, so everything's hotted. Venruki going ticks off. He's going to be targeted at the moment. Rogues, you can see, just to the left and the right aren't going to be coming out. There wasn't a poly put in onto Malice. Venruki's still going to be throwing this damage onto Doja, and they could open up on him. And look at this, Doja goes all the way down to 2k HP. You can see there, Happy Minty will be chasing. Finally, Happy Minty is going to get put. He's going to actually trinket. He's going to shadow step onto his target. Does get onto it. Doja needs to get a heal. He does get one flash heal. In comes the second, and he is going to be in a good enough situation. Finally gets put into a kidney shot, but so late. You know, he's going to be out of that pretty quickly as well. So in comes a really nice sphere as well. Venruki was in that. He's going to rule a Forsaken out. And now they go on Natrana. Doja has to come back in over the top and help. Looking for a poly is Venruki. Is he going to hit it? He hits it actually onto Malice. Goes still aggressive. Malice finally comes out of that. Natrana only just surviving at the moment as he dips away. You can see him run just behind that pillar and goes all away. Going to get Starfire put up onto him. Let's switch over, or stay on to actually Natrana. He's going to have to come back in and help the fight, or someone will be targeted. Doja put into a poly right now. In comes an Arcane Barrage onto Natrana, and surely he's going to die. And there was nothing he could really do in this situation. So finally, he manages to stay somewhat alive, but in comes another round of damage from the Arcane Mage, and Natrana is going to drop. Not sure why he came back into the situation. He's kind of scared that something would either happen to Malice or Doja, but even though Doja was put into a sheep, and Sodder is having such an easy time here. He's not getting challenged whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, all they're really doing to Sodder in the past, like, 3 games is just chucking a blind onto him at a sort of random moment during the game, and I think what they really need to do if they want to take down this lineup is they need to try and get a fear or 2 off on him at least. And I mean, Natrana was playing Shadow Step, so he could have easily maybe got a gouge in or something to give, or a Vanish CS, or locked him down to give Doja a chance to get in range to get a fear off.
He came
just
back,
one fear.
Yeah, exactly. And he also came back and went for the Druid. Like it was the new cool thing to do, because yeah, the Druid's going to kill you. Not sure with the decision making there of Pandemic, but what I really did like was Venruki. Instead of trying to shut down the Priest, which is you normally see a lot in RMPs, he's really shutting down Malice. You know, with polys, with the counter spells, it's like, it's the new thing to do, is like, you know, keep that other Arcane Mage from owning the game, because as soon as it becomes a 3-on-2 situation, doesn't matter what healer you've got, if they've got the Arcane Mage in play and you don't, they can kill somebody in 2 to 3 global cooldowns, and you know, you're there, you know, you don't like it. So rather than sometimes having the healer out, people are favouring, you know, locking down, you know, they let the healer be out and they lock down the other Arcane Mage.
Yeah, and I really feel to be able to take this setup as RMP, you really need to switch targets quite a bit. You really need to get the Druids using as many hots as possible. You need to sort of change when a target is an opposing target is completely bare of all hots, and just unload a hell of a lot of damage, try and force that Nature Swiftness or whatever, and then change over. But if you're just sticking on one target for the whole game, it just makes the Druid's life so much easier.
Yeah, it does, because those hots will be going through. The other thing, I mean, when they were opening up, like, why would Pandemic, I mean, Pandemic had a lot of pressure onto the back of him, and it's kind of, I'm not sure, it was obviously worked out for him, but when the team of GotGame East went really heavy on Doja, okay? So they went really heavy, and I'm like, well, you know, you normally, you know, it's the only target they've got available to him. So they go heavy on Doja. Doja almost has to use everything to save himself, and then he also needs to call on his teammates to help save him. Then the team of GotGame East, after that situation, they go on to Natrana, and they did it twice. So, I mean, how would you counter that as an RMP? Do you think?
As I said, they just need to put more. I mean, Happy Minty and Venruki did a good job of controlling Nitrana and putting some control. Yeah, they played well, but I really felt Pandemic could have done a lot more. As we mentioned, more control on
And when Natrana actually didn't, when Natrana was called in to help Doja, after he helped, he was kind of stagnant in his position and options, especially that game. He was caught behind the pillar, behind the graveyard, and he didn't have a line of sight actually onto Sodder, so he couldn't like shadow step over. And he was also having to chase Happy Minty, who was very elusive to start with in that game. There was a trinket plus a shadow step in, and it was Natrana didn't have the options maybe to play an elongated game, but normally we see Natrana kind of, that's more his style, is to be the guy opening up and being defensive. And I felt that maybe GotGame East, in a way, did this. It's like, rather than waiting for Natrana to find the Druid, which is obviously something that can happen, especially on Runes of Lordaeron, or get an opener when he wanted to, find the Druid in a position he wanted to open up on. They just said, we're gonna be first to act, and first to act teams at the moment are really coming up trumps.
Yeah, and I really felt that Pandemic were sort of mimicking some of the playstyles we saw seen at Seoul, but maybe not quite as successfully. I mean, we've seen Malice playing full Arcane. I think Nitrana may have even been playing Shadow Dance in that game. I wasn't 100% sure. I think he may have been. And as I said, he was their playstyle has evolved quite a bit from the early RMP's sort of playstyle we used to see. Nitrana sitting in stealth for long periods of time, but that's really what you've got to do in 3.0.
Would you have not liked to seen, even though that Sodder was in tree form, spamming hots, would you have not liked to have seen maybe Malice come in and just spell steal him down a little bit? Just to try and see if you can take something away that was important, right? So Malice give him a few spell steals, then Natrana's team take the offensive, dispels at the same time maybe, and then they take the offensive and just open up on Sodder, even though he's in tree form, bonus armor, because you've only got to blow really one, nature swiftness, heal, and then everything kind of comes so much more available to kill, even the mage. Yeah. Because they didn't take that initiative. They waited, and then they were on.
I just would have liked to have seen them put more pressure on Sodder. I mean, it's fine if you don't open up
on him. And that's the other thing.
Fine, but switch over to him when he hasn't got a single hot on him, and you can really put the pressure on. And then as soon as he's hotted up, once you've rinsed your stuns and your diminishing returns and stuff, then just switch target to another target that's completely hotless. And not only are you maximizing the amount of mana that you're forcing their druid to use, but you're also taking them by surprise
and reaction times coming into play here in WoW 3.0 is a huge thing, especially with the HP being a level 70 characters.